Welcome to another episode of Banking on Education. Today's special guest is Bre Rife. She is the Mortgage Originations Manager. Tell me about what that title means.
So I help all the members basically get loans. So I review them, the loan officers actually do the loans, and then I'm just kind of there to oversee and see if there's any way that I can help additionally.
Now, how long have you been with the credit union?
I've been with the credit union 14 years almost.
Okay. And it's an interesting path you took to get to this job. And any time, so here at the credit union, we definitely like to promote from within. And when a new employee asks for a good example of that, I always bring up you. Because tell us about your career path and all the different things that you've done at the credit union.
So I started off as the receptionist over at our main branch. From there, I went to a vault coordinator. Then I processed the consumer loans, helped with the title work and everything like that. Then I started as the the home equity loan officer. From there, took on mortgages, and now here I am as the originations manager.
So what advice would you give to a brand new employee starting here?
Once you have your foot in the door, if you just put in the work, put in the effort, the doors open up for you.
Yeah. So what was that one thing that you think helped propel you? Because I have an idea of what I think it was, but what do you think it was that helped get you maybe not all the way to where you are now, but that next level and what people got to see?
I think it was just taking the initiative, seeing what needed to be done and doing it. One of the first projects that I felt like I just kind of did was the safe deposit boxes.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It was such a mess, and you came in and you cleaned it up, and everybody was like, wow. And so to that point, that one simple thing, well, it probably wasn't simple. It was such a mess. But to that point, if you show an ability here, or at any job, really, it opens up that door for advancement for you. So,
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. No, that was great. You also have an education connection. Tell me about that.
So my family is full of teachers. I have my brother, my sister-in-law, my parents, all of them. They've started as teachers. My stepdad was a superintendent for Cleveland ISD for a little while. So teachers, education. Now. Yes, happily retired.
Shout out to Mr. McCandless.
Yes, they're actually just coming back from Norway right now, so Definitely enjoying that. But just education's near and dear to my heart. I actually was going to be a teacher at one point, but decided that this was a better path for me. Yeah,
it turns out it was, probably. Well, the real reason we're doing this episode dressed up, because it is Halloween season. And what we want to kind of talk about is demystifying the spooky process of getting a mortgage. I think it's one of those things that they only do it once or twice in their lifetime, so it seems really daunting. What advice would you give to somebody who's looking to go through the home buying process for the first time?
So I'd say start early. First step, honestly, reach out to one of our loan officers and just talk to them, have a conversation. They're here to help you figure out exactly what you need to do to where you need to be. So that way, if you're not necessarily where you need to be right now, you have time to get to that spot.
Yeah, and that's, I think the thing is, car buying is often done on impulse. House buying shouldn't be, because the process it's a lot more complicated.
It is.
Talk to us about how long out you think people should give themselves to start that process.
Really anywhere from 6 months to a year. It just really kind of depends. Knowing where you're at right now will kind of give you an idea. So if your credit score maybe not necessarily where you need it to be, then you can work on that. If you need to start saving money for the down payments, for closing costs, things like that, you have that option to do so.
Yeah, let's talk about credit score. I don't think people realize how much that affects how much money you're going to pay over a lifetime. I mean, a good credit score will save you literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on a mortgage alone.
Yes.
What if that score isn't quite where they want it to be? What would you recommend they do?
So my favorite thing to recommend is to actually use through online banking. We have the credit scores simulator. So that way you can kind of play with it, figure out if paying off what debt, if you can consolidate debt, and how that's going to affect your credit score, and kind of gives you an idea of how long it's going to take for you to do that. So that's one of the things that I like to recommend.
Yeah, and what we found is, and we just had a call about this not long ago, is that 60 to 70% of the people that use the tool show an improvement in their credit score over 6 months or a year. And so it really is a powerful tool to at least help get members started in the process.
Yes.
So we've talked a little bit about credit score. Higher is always better, obviously.
Right.
Down payment. Is it always necessary? And if so, how much? What's the standard?
So it's not always necessary at the credit union. So the typical first-time home buyer is going to be around 3% down. If you've owned a home before, then it's going to be at least 5% down. However, we do have a few special educator mortgages. So if you've worked in the school district for at least 2 years, then you could be eligible for 0 down payment, no PMI. And then there's also the option to potentially roll in up to 3% of closing costs to kind of help knock down that.
Yeah, and what are some of the typical closing costs, and how much do they range? And then what are some of the closing costs that maybe people don't think about and probably need to?
So typical closing costs, you're going to be paying for the title company, you're paying for appraisals, surveys. They range anywhere, typically about up to 4% of the sales price. So really depending on how much house you're buying, the more house, the more you're going to pay. And then there's also, a lot of people don't think about what we call prepaids. So property taxes, insurances, because some of those things you do have to pay for a full year up front.
Okay. And inspections are always
inspections, yes, absolutely.
A good thing. You want to know what you're getting into. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about escrow and the escrow process. That's one area where we seem to get a lot of questions. And let's talk maybe a little bit about some of the things that are affecting that in kind of really unfavorable ways in the present environment. Yeah.
So escrow is a big thing. A lot of people have that as part of their payment. That covers your property taxes and your insurances. So as home values continue to increase, your property taxes continue to increase. We've also seen a large uptake of homeowners insurances, flood insurances. They're just getting more and more expensive. So every year we're having to reevaluate your payment. So that way we're making sure to collect enough so that you're not having large shortages.
Yeah, and having to scramble at the end of the year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So homeowners insurance is a big deal right now, especially in the region we live in. Mm-hmm. We've seen pretty hefty increases, anywhere from 10 to, I would say, almost 20% in some cases. Yes. Knowing that, what should homeowners prepare for when they're first getting into a house? What do you think the average kind of increase in escrow would be kind of per year with the current environment we're in?
I mean, it really ranges in the area that you're in. Things to consider, if you're looking for a house or if you're in a flood zone, things like that, they're gonna significantly increase your cost. I always recommend, honestly, shopping every year, making sure that you're looking in and finding out that you have the best thing, because it's gonna go up and up every year, and it's automatically gonna renew.
Yeah, insurance always seems to do that.
Yes,
I would recommend that for any type of insurance. Mm-hmm. You kind of take a look at it year over year. Yes. Because, yeah, very rarely has my insurance rate ever gone down in anything. So, what are some of the things that when you're in the home buying process, you really need to look out for? For example, I know one time we bought a house, something new appeared on our credit report, and what a hassle that turned out to be. I mean, that was truly the nightmare on Elm Street scenario. Talk to us about what members should avoid when they're in the home buying process, and what to look out for.
So basically, the biggest rule is don't apply for any new credit. If you're trying to buy a house, don't go buy a new car. Don't open up credit cards. Save your furniture shopping till after you close. Just put everything on pause as far as your credit goes.
Yeah, it's because they'll want a lot of documentation.
Yes.
And speaking of documentation, have you noticed over time the documentation has gotten less or more as far as the volume that you need in order to complete a mortgage and close on a house?
So it's definitely increased. We have to be very thorough about what we're looking for, and you just kind of have to track every little thing. So documentation can be a little bit tedious, but talking to your loan officer ahead of time will just kind of help you figure out exactly what you need, so that you're not having to get something and then they ask for something else, and then get something, ask for something else. You can just kind of gather it all at once.
And any other like last minute advice for any home buyers in the mortgage process?
Start the process early, talk to a loan officer. And another thing is, when you're looking and you're getting ready to buy and you're looking for a realtor, don't hesitate to ask how they can help you. There's realtors out there that will pay for appraisals, or maybe they can give up some of their commission to help you lower your closing costs.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. Also, the current rate environment has some people scared off. What would you say to them?
Now's the perfect time to buy. Rates are kind of where they're at. Everyone's been waiting for rates to drop for what seems like forever. But waiting to buy a house for rates, your house is going to increase. So you're going to end up paying more for a house. You're going to miss out on that equity. And in the event rates do drop, you always have the opportunity to refinance.
And that has gotten way easier over time.
Yes, it really has.
That's a process that it's not at all quite like the original mortgage process.
Correct.
Okay. Bre, thank you for demystifying some of these scary things about, the mortgage process, and being on the podcast and dressing up and playing along. Don't forget to stay tuned. More Banking on Education episodes are coming. Next episode, we're going to talk about side hustles. Gotcha.